Yeah, and I think the reason I think I still should have been more cautious here, but the reason I did it is because I think when I was just on bottom lane farming out and saw OD bottom lane, he didn't have the Orchid yet. I don't think he had any part of it yet. So him showing up mid with an Orchid surprised me a lot. I didn't think he would be able to actually do anything with me, even if he was there.
That's a possibility, but still, like, you don't want the OD to go on you, right? Even if he doesn't have the OD, you don't want him to go on you. That's like not efficient or anything. So it's better to like still play off map, like get some farm. If ODs goes top, then there is a mid creep wave you can take, and then you go top if you want, or stay mid based on what's happened top.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess people are not even here.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
It was like 25 minutes or 24 or something.
Okay, if you say so.
Yes, I think right here I check his items and he didn't have Orchid.
Okay. Yeah, it's possible that he just received it. It's still like you could farm. It's just too dangerous to farm right underneath the tower. You know, like farm this and these creeps, they don't go anywhere. Gives enemy chance to give you info.
Dire's middle tower is Radiant barrier is dead. Dire just for his own rules.
Okay, now enemy has to come back. It's still the matter of who goes Roche first in this game. What happened there? Why you didn't just kill this Jekyll?
I think I clipped the ice path.
Oh yeah, you did.
I was trying to go around him. Bigger than I thought.
It's important to like touch him with the Shikuchi if you want to kill him. Without it, it's not gonna happen.
I think that's what I was trying to do. I just ran into that too, but
I'm lucky. Okay. This ice pass is actually bigger than it looks. Some spells are like that. They're bigger or they're smaller. You could have made that OD if you trust your Abaddon. Yeah. Maybe you don't trust him.
I think I should have.
I do this a lot. If you've been a support player, I would suggest trying that. As a core, it's a bit too risky. I don't blame you if you're not doing it. As a support, it's like, okay, high value, high risk, let's call it. Or like normal value, normal risk. But like as a core, it's a high risk, normal value.
Is Dire going to have that middle tower full? Jax thinks Radiant's bottom Dire's middle tower has fallen. Radiant's top tower?
Okay. Still, I'm not sure if you are telling your team to go Roche or pinging it or not. But if you're not doing it, just do it.
Yeah, I was even thinking about Roche.
It's so important. Like, make it like a normal thing to yourself that pushing a tier 2, it naturally requires Aegis. Okay? Now, if there is a unique situation that we are taking a tier 2 without an Aegis, it's like, okay, roll with it. But think about Roshan since the moment that like you're thinking about tier 2s as well. That's when Roshan should start the main objective. Because the team with the Aegis is dictating the pace of the game. Like they naturally don't want to fight into us when we have Aegis, so they will avoid us and we'll be happy. Okay, so any reason we're not touching these creeps and run away?
I think I was just worried about multiple people being here. Like I didn't want to get OD'd. I didn't want to get Shadowblade gone on with Orchid and Banish or
something.
Do you
think they have sentry here? On the lane?
No, I don't think it's sentry.
So don't hit the creeps. Just go in with, go through them and go back here and hit these camp. and it will
Do
Shikuchi
you think that's worth it just to push the lane a little further?
It will buy 30 seconds of time for enemy to push bottom lane. And then you just farm your way backward. If it's safe to do, it's like so impactful in the game. Like, notice how there is a lot of time passing that you're not farming anything as a carry. Like, that's costly. And now here, actually, if I've been an enemy support, I would like naturally put a sentry around this area. Because like, if I want to go high ground, I need a sentry. This is more likely to have a sentry to catch you.
Nothing good
I
happened.
mean, it was still fine to push it out.
Do Radiant want their
I think you should push it a bit too early, but it worked out.
If you're looking for Radiant's bottom tower, better hurry.
So why we are picking a tier 2 instead of a tier 3? What's going on?
I think I didn't. The tier 3s felt like helpful to me. Nemesis Curse felt too scary this game, and I didn't really have anything else that felt great. I was prioritizing stats.
I understand, but I do not agree totally. So like, this item means you need to play a bit more careful, but whenever you play, it's gonna be way more impactful.
Yeah, I think in retrospect it would have been good to have because I think it complemented the way I was supposed to play this game, but I didn't play this game.
Yeah.
Which is playing super cautious and just bursting
And
support.
also other items like evasion, extra armor, magic resistance.
I think my
armor
options were
attributes,
it was
lifesteal.
doubloon, headband, ceremonial robe, nemesis, and I think it was the ogre totem. And it was 5 that I really didn't
This is
want.
awesome.
Nemesis curse.
This is awesome. It's a
You
4
think that would
staff.
have been good this game?
It's a 4 staff. Don't you like to have a 4 staff?
Yeah, I guess that's true.
I mean, against these trees, if you're stuck on it, what do you do right now?
Yeah, that makes sense.
That Ogre Shield Totem is a very nice item. Very nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Double damage.
Make sure we have a TP. I still want to have a Gleipnir here. It's gonna make you tanky enough. This whole stat thingy that you feel like you should have, that's kind of gonna give it to you. It's not a stat, but it's an extra health. And after that, after the Gleipnir, you can think about more raw damage. Something like a Daedalus, or at least the Crystallis part. And then go for a BKB. I think you're getting BKB too early.
I think at this point in the game, I just felt like I couldn't really. I felt because I knew he was about to have a hex, and I felt like I just couldn't be in a fight without a BKB. But I think I should have been thinking more about how I needed to play the fight to just not interact with OD at all.
Yeah. You can also consider something like a Orchid. So you just silence him, and then you have your Orchid to kill him. So kind of.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
This TP felt a bit weird to me.
And
But the biggest issue is that we're not going Roche when we can.
Yeah.
Radiant's
And then the whole thing happened.
Dire don't look too scared.
Huh.
Radiant's top.
Maybe
I don't like that
could
TP
have.
either in retrospect.
Yeah, like you could like throw the storm and then just keep scooching away. I don't think they could catch up to you.
Unstoppable.
Yeah, because I really wish I had the TP right here.
Yeah.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Like the later the game goes, the more important TPs become. Think about TPs as like a spell that requires 3-second channeling. It has 80-second cooldown and it costs 75 mana and 100 gold to cast.
Yeah.
Suddenly it feels like, oh, it's a big deal. I need to be careful when to use them and how to use them.
Yeah, that's a good way to think about it.
It's not every day you get to see Radiant.
Don't it, I guess. Could be better, but it was okay. Yes.
They just kind of took control of the map. We just started slowly with this one.
So,
Felt really useless.
again, right now, the thing is, enemy came high ground without Aegis. Now, if we go Roche, we're gonna take it.
Yeah.
Go Roche. Like, you should have pushed this out, then use the portal to go Roche. And ping the shit out of it. So, maybe someone comes to help. And if nobody comes, then, like, you just farm around. Like, you just hope for the best.
I think that's just 3K brain because I just wasn't thinking about Rush this game very much. The thing you said earlier about taking tier 2s requiring Aegis or whatever, like that's just I feel like 90% of tier 2s my team takes, we don't have an Aegis for it.
Yeah. Like if you look at the pro games, the game is like in a normal good pro game. It's usually like they take like 2 tier 1 towers, then they go kind of not say AFK farm, but they just prioritize farm heavily more than anything else. Only those who can like be active and they don't need much items would go active and try to find some kills. And then after they get to like their 1 or 2 big items, then they try to go Roche, that maybe find the kill into Roche, like based on what they need to do it. And then they go Roche, and then they will start like hunting enemy heroes on map and push more advantage.
That's a good way.
It's weird that you
I
don't
think
have
that's just a really
like times like this, buy 2 TP. So once you use it,
I think I need to get better about buying several of them. I have very bad TP habits in general. I have notes around my computer to try and remember them right now because it's something I'm actively trying to get better at.
Radiant's top tower
Okay.
has fallen.
Any improvements since you decided to get better at it?
This has been a very recent thing, so not really, but
Radiant's top tower.
hoping for it.
Okay, so I give you some time, so you figure it out on yourself. Usually that's like better. But if it didn't work out, I will see if I can like come up with some ideas on how we get better with the TP. But like one general rule I would just give you now is that don't use minimap for TPs. Move your camera and then TP. It will take like slightly more time to do it, but you will be fine. The only TPs you can do without looking is the TP base, which is a double click. It doesn't require clicking or anything. Any other place you want to go, move your camera and then decide where exactly to TP. Like on which tower and on which location around the tower.
Yeah. The
Give
thing
your,
you said earlier about thinking about it as like spending 100 gold rather than like thinking about using it as spending the gold rather than buying it makes a lot of sense to me. I think that'll help.
Do Radiant want their
Yep.
top tower to fall?
hopefully it does.
Radiant's middle tower.
Would give a lot of things to have a Glebnir at that point.
Radiant's middle barracks are under attack.
I think I spent way too much time in all of these fights trying to extend yourself for no reason.
I suppose this Timbersaw being relatively unkillable to you with how tanky he is, and he has a jam also, and also the fact that we have 0 lockdown, and like you didn't address that issue with your items. Like again, 0 lockdown is still 0 lockdown. I don't call this a lockdown, so just one is low, and like this guy ulti with like 110 second. And melee range is the only lockdown we have. So that's another thing to consider. Anytime you're itemizing for stuff, you need to ask yourself, what is my team is lacking heavily. But this is a game that even if you go for a hex, I would say, oh yeah, these guys are lacking lockdown. So a hex would be awesome here.
Yeah.
Because this guy would have died if we cannot actually lock him down to hit him. It's just he just keep moving and then he doesn't take damage. See, like okay, he cancel the TP. was just TPing in our face like 3 heroes.
Did Radiant's bottom tower just fall?
Like, and he eventually escaped. Like he goes from like all the way here, escaping to the fountain. Like no one can lock him down.
Time to go. Radiant's bottom barracks. Radiant's bottom barracks.
Oh, you end up buying back. It's hard to tell if you should have buyback or not. I think it's worth it to buy back to save this bottom racks. Right now, if you buy back and you try to like save this 2 racks, and like maybe even slightly earlier to like push it out, and then you go contest this Juggernaut on the bottom lane. I guess it's worth it because like otherwise you are losing 2 lane of racks. Your buyback probably doesn't worth that much at this stage. So.
I think buybacks is a big weakness of mine. I feel like probably a quarter of the time that I buy back, I feel immediately like I shouldn't have.
It's one of the hardest mechanics in the game. It happens to everyone, even in highest MMR game. They mess up the buyback. So it's not something that I tell you. Okay, this is the time you buy back, and like you just do it, and then it gets fixed. It's like a lot of experience requires to know. Okay. If I do buy back, this is gonna happen. If I don't buy back, that is gonna happen. Like if you buy back and then you die here, it's GG. So it's also that risk. But I think all in all, I think you're survivable enough to do buy back and then try to stop here, to stop this push here. And I guess this game is over at this point. Do you have any specific question about this game? Anything?
No, I don't think that. That was a lot of good advice.
Yep.
A lot of good notes.
So keep thinking about.
I think the itemization was the biggest thing that handicapped me with this. It made the game feel so hard.
If you go for a Dezo, the same lockdown issue would happen. So you would still need to come up with items that controls the enemy, whether it's an Orchid, it's a Hex, whatever it is. You still need to control these enemies because we have no lockdown in our team. So maybe going this Maelstrom and rushing the Gleipnir is also a very solid option here in this game. It's not bad at all. But yeah, probably you can even go both Dezo and Gleipnir if you dominate a bit harder in the lane or post-laning phase. But yeah, think about the things that your team lacks in your itemization. It helps a lot, especially as a core.
What do you think about Falcon Blade as an item right now?
It's a good item on a very few heroes, Weaver being one of them. It's a good item when you are the extra health allows you to lane more, and the mana regen makes you not to go base. That's like when this item shines. Like it's not a damage item; it just gives some damage, so your item progression happen, and it won't be like a cheap weak item. But other than that, it's good when you can survive the lane by having extra 200 health and having some mana regen. So heroes that need mana regen and heroes that benefit from extra health are the only heroes that buying this item. Heroes like Weaver, Gyro, Terrorblade sometimes. These are the heroes that build this item. Sometimes a hero like a Storm Spirit in his laning phase against some heroes like a Queen of Pain. I saw people buy it. So it's very situational, but it's good on Weaver. Anytime you feel like, oh, I'm not gonna survive the lane with or without Falcon, then you don't build it. Anytime you tell yourself, oh, I do not need the Falcon Blade at all to survive the lane, and I can do just fine with the Bouncy Ring, for example, for mana regen, then you can go just Bouncy instead.
Okay, that's a good way to think about it. Because I think I wasn't thinking about it as heavily as a lane item, which I probably should be. I think of it as more of like a right after lane. Like I buy it a lot of the time just as like sustain farming the jungle. Like for Weaver, I was thinking of it as like, because I have Falcon Blade, I can Sukuchi farm the jungle freely and not have no mana.
Yeah, for the mana itself, like having a power trade, you switch, and then having just a Baxi Ring, it's good enough. Like you don't need more than that. But the extra health and the damage that this Falcon Blade gives you is meant to let you lane. And as we talk about, Weaver is a hero that naturally wants to stay in the lane and keep laning and kick the enemy off lane and out. So yeah, that's what this
That's a good note,
Falcon
too.
Blade is for. Anything else you may want to ask?
I don't think so. That was very informational. A lot of good stuff here.
Yep.
I appreciate it.
You're welcome, my friend. If you don't have any more question, I will end the coaching session, right?
Yep.